Hare Krishna. Let us understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. So let us understand these chapters section by section. Before we begin the discussion, let us offer our prayers to our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we will be understanding the third section of the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This section is from Shloka number 15 to Shloka number 19. This section is entitled 4 kinds of people who surrender to Krishna and 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to Krishna. So let us understand this section. In the previous section, Lord Krishna had concluded that the divine energy, which is the material energy, is very difficult to overcome by the conditioned souls, and only those who surrender unto Krishna can overcome the influence of material nature. So if it is so easy to overcome the influence of the material energy by surrendering to Krishna, then why are people not surrendering to Krishna? There are many educated people, great scientists, philosophers, politicians who don't surrender to Krishna. Why do they not surrender to Krishna and overcome the influence of material energy and solve the problems of life? One may have such a question. So Krishna answers this question. Krishna says, Namam dushkriti no mudha prapadyante naradhama Mayaya paharta jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Here Krishna has described that there are one category of people who are dushkriti. Dushkriti means even though they are very intelligent, even though they have great influence and ability, they utilize it for doing things which are against the Supreme Lord. They utilize their intelligence, they utilize all the resources to do things against the established law of God. So such people are called dushkrutis. So there are 4 categories of dushkrutis who do not surrender to Krishna. They are, first category Krishna is listing as mudhas. Mudhas are people who are grossly foolish. They don't understand the aim of life. They work hard and just to earn money and fulfill some material needs and material desires, they go on working very hard. An example is given of an ass. An ass is a beast of burden. It carries load on its back for its master and it is many times beaten by the master just for the sake of a morsel of grass which is easily available anywhere and everywhere. But the donkey, the ass, thinks that if it does not carry that huge load on its back, it will not get the morsel of grass. And then it is very fearful. It sleeps fearfully of the master, and then when it wants to indulge in sex, it gets kicked by the opposite sex, and in this way it leads a miserable life. And that is why ass is an example of foolish animal, because even though it can enjoy the morsel of grass freely, it thinks that it has to carry heavy load for getting that morsel of grass. In the same way, there are people who work very hard and earn money, make material assets, which they don't even enjoy those material assets which they earn, and they themselves eat very little, and they create their own responsibilities, their own engagements, and they say that we don't have time to understand or hear about God, they don't have time to listen to the messages of the scriptures. They say that we are very busy in our works and we have no time. Actually, they are not interested in God. They think that earning money, making wealth for their descendants is the aim of life. Such people are grossly foolish. They are called here by Krishna as mudhas. They do not surrender to Krishna. The second category Krishna says is Namam dushkritino mudha prapadhyante naradhama. Naradhama means lowest of the mankind. There are totally 84 lakh species of life, and in that 4 lakh species are human beings. Among the human beings, there are civilized and uncivilized category of human beings. Even those who are civilized, nowadays people, they don't believe in God, they don't worship God, even in civilized societies. Such people come under the category of Naradhama. Naradhama means lowest of the mankind, who don't know the aim of life. Actually, the aim of human form of life is self-realization and God realization. Human life is so valuable. If it is properly utilized, one can realize God and get out of material suffering. So if the whole society, if the whole civilization is not given this direction of self-realization, of realizing Krishna, then such a civilization is called Naradhama. So in the modern society, currently the 99.9% of the entire population is Naradhama, because they don't know the aim of life. They don't know that I am eternal servant of Krishna, I am spirit soul, I am part of Krishna. This is true knowledge which we get from Bhagavad Gita. Currently, 99.9% of the entire population in this world, they don't understand who am I, they don't understand who is God, they don't understand the aim of life. Therefore, the entire population almost is Naradhama, that means lowest of the mankind. And the third category of Dushkriti, which Krishna mentions, is Maya Aparta Jnana. Maya Aparta Jnana means those whose knowledge is stolen away by Maya. Those whose intelligence is stolen away by Maya, they are called Maya Aparta Jnana. These people generally are very intelligent, they are great philosophers, thinkers, scientists. Even though they are very highly intelligent, they work against the laws of God. They want to establish that everything is created by matter. They want to defy the authority of God. So these kind of people are called Maya Aparta Jnana. Means those people whose intelligence is stolen away by the material energy. The illusory material energy bewilders them and makes them feel that everything is created by matter. They don't know that behind the material energy is the Supreme Lord Krishna, under whose direction material energy is working. Just like shadow moves behind the object, in the same way material energy works very nicely according to the desire of Krishna. So these people who, even though they are very highly intelligent materially, they don't understand that material energy is working so wonderfully under the direction of Krishna, and they always work against established laws of Krishna, and they want to defy God, defy the authority of God. And there are one more category of people who are philosophers, who talk on Bhagavad Gita, and they give misinterpretation to the Bhagavad Gita. They say that everything is impersonal. They give their own understanding about what Krishna has spoken here in the Bhagavad Gita. They want to defy the authority of the Supreme Person Krishna. They don't know that God is a person, it is Lord Krishna. They don't understand that everything is coming from Lord Krishna. They give wrong conclusions, and they say that there is something unimaginable source from which everything is coming. In that way, they give some misinterpretation. What they don't understand is, beyond this material world, there is spiritual world with full of varieties, which is spiritual in nature, and there are spiritual planets in which the Supreme Lord Krishna lives along with his devotees with all spiritual varieties. And they don't understand that this human form is designed according to that form of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Supreme Lord Krishna is having a form. That form is two-handed form. It is all described in the scriptures. The Supreme Lord Krishna is having two-handed form and he plays on his flute. Lord Brahma describes about the form of Lord Krishna in a scripture called Brahma Samhita. He describes that the Supreme Lord Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barhavatamsam Asitambuda Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Brahma says that the Supreme Lord Govinda, Lord Krishna, he is playing on his flute, Venam Kvanantam, Aravinda Dalaya Taksham. His eyes are as beautiful as the petals of lotus. Barhavatamsam, he wears a peacock feather on his head. Asitambuda Sundarangam, he is having his skin color which resembles a new fresh cloud. Andarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, his beauty is so attractive that it is more attractive than millions and millions of beauty of Cupid or Kamadeva. Kamadeva is considered to be most attractive Devata. But Krishna's beauty is far, far, far beyond than millions of beauties of Kamadeva put together. Because Krishna is spiritual, his beauty is spiritual, it attracts everyone. So, the spiritual beauty, the spiritual form of the Lord is clearly described in the scriptures. But the Maya Apartha Jnana, those people who don't understand things properly, they give misinterpretation to the Bhagavad Gita. They conclude that God is some impersonal. They don't understand that originally God is a person, he is Lord Krishna, from whom everything comes. So they are also Maya Aparata Jnana. And the fourth category of Dushkrutis are openly atheistic. They are called Asuram Bhavam Ashritaham. Asuram Bhavam Ashritaham means those who have taken shelter of demoniac nature. They are openly atheistic, openly they defy God. They don't believe in God. Just like there were great demons such as Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, they were openly against God and breaking all the laws of God. So such people are also Dushkrutis. So these are the four kinds of people who do not surrender to Krishna, even though they may be very intelligent, very famous, very learned. So Krishna says that these four categories of people, they do not surrender unto him. Further, Krishna describes the four categories of people who surrender to him. So Krishna says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutino arjuna arto jignasur artharti jnani cha bharatarshabha. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. So here Krishna has listed four kinds of men who approach him and who were Sukruti or pious men. So the four categories of people described here is, one is Artho, one who is distressed. To solve his distress, to solve his problems, he approaches God and then he prays to God to help him get out of the problems. So Lord Krishna, he reciprocates with such devotees and he fulfills their desires by removing their distress. So these people gradually, by associating with pure devotees, they will also become pure devotees. Further, the next category are those who desire wealth. They also approach God and pray for wealth. Krishna reciprocates with them, and by repeatedly approaching God and pure devotees, they will understand that material prosperity, wealth has nothing to do with spiritual satisfaction of the soul. The soul will be happy only by rendering pure devotion to Krishna. So they will also become pure devotees and will give up all material desires to achieve wealth and money. So further, the third category are those who are Jignasu. Jignasu are those people who get frustrated in life and they want to know who is God, and they try to understand God. So they approach devotees and try to learn about God. So they are one category of people who also approach God and gradually become devotees of Krishna. And further, the fourth category of people are Jnanis. Jnanis are those people who are trying to know about things beyond matter They want to understand who am I, what is this creation, what is this existence. And generally people who are into this spiritual progress, they understand that I am not the body, I am spirit, but they don't understand from where everything is coming. They generally are impersonalists. They think that everything is impersonal. But by associating with devotees and by associating with pure knowledge of scriptures under the guidance of pure devotees, they will also understand that the impersonal Brahma Jyoti which is spread everywhere, and the Paramatma feature of the Lord who is present in every atom and in every heart of the living beings, they understand that it is all coming from the Supreme Person Krishna. So gradually they will also become devotees of Krishna. So these four categories of people, actually they are not pure devotees. They approach God with some material desires, but over a period of time, by associating with pure devotees, they will also become pure devotees. So further Krishna says, Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnaninothyartam aham sacha mama priyaha. So Krishna says, of these, the wise who is in full knowledge, in union with me, through pure devotional service, is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. So among those who approach God and worship God, here Krishna is telling that Krishna likes the person who worships him with pure devotion without any material desires. So as I was explaining, the four categories of people, they are Sukrutis, they are pious because they are approaching God for solving their problems or to know more about spirituality. But Krishna says that he likes the person who approaches him without any material desires, and he is in full knowledge that he is eternal part of Krishna. He is in full knowledge that I am eternal servant of Krishna and I have no other purpose in life other than pleasing Krishna. Such a pure devotee is very, very dear to Lord Krishna, because that pure devotee always thinks of serving Krishna, always thinks of pleasing Krishna, and Krishna also always thinks of such a devotee, and in this way there is a loving reciprocation between a pure devotee and Lord Krishna. Even though Lord Krishna is Supreme Lord and every living being is part of him, so he is equal to all living beings. But among all categories of living beings, Lord Krishna always thinks of his pure devotees. Pure devotees are those people who don't have any interest of satisfying their own personal desires. They always think of how to please Krishna and they are always busy in serving Krishna. So such people are called pure devotees and they are very, very rarely found in this world. So Krishna says, such pure devotees are very, very dear to him. Further Krishna says, Udara sarva evaite jnani tvatmaiva me matam astitaha sahi uktatma mame vanuttamam gatim. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider verily to dwell in me. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he attains me. So again Krishna here is telling that all these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous. Udaraha sarva evaite. On these four categories of devotees, they are approaching Krishna to solve their problems. So they are all not ordinary souls. They are called magnanimous souls. They are all Mahatmas, great people. And by approaching Krishna and approaching pure devotees, gradually they will give up material desires and they will also become pure devotees. So among all people who approach Krishna, here Krishna is telling that one who is in full knowledge of me, who is a pure devotee, he attains him very quickly. So Krishna loves pure devotees, those who render service to him without any material desires. So further Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudevah sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So here very clearly Krishna is describing that the path of spiritual elevation, it takes a long time to understand. It's not very easy to know God. It's not easy to understand God. It is a confidential subject matter. So to know who am I itself is confidential. To know who is God is very, very confidential. And to know that I am related to God and I have a loving relationship with God and engage in that loving relationship is called the most confidential knowledge. So this most confidential knowledge that I am eternal servant of Krishna, it's my natural function to love Krishna. This was distributed by Lord Krishna himself in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is the most confidential knowledge. How to love Krishna, Krishna Prema, was distributed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the most fallen souls of this age of Kali Yuga. So we can understand how great, how magnanimous is Lord Krishna in his form as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya told that in order to approach Krishna, in order to love Krishna, in order to return back to Krishna, one has to chant his holy names, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By lovingly, with full devotion, with full attention, if we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we get purified and we become qualified to see Krishna face to face and establish our relationship with Krishna and live with Krishna eternally, happily. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna himself, he came and taught practically how to elevate to the highest state of pure devotion from the most fallen state of our material entanglement. We were fully involved in so many sinful activities. So we can also elevate and become pure devotees by this simple method of chanting and hearing the holy names of Lord Krishna, and especially chanting and hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So even though spiritual progress takes many, many lives, to understand that Vasudeva, Krishna is the cause of all causes and we have to surrender to Krishna. To come to this ultimate conclusion, it takes a long time and it takes our sincere efforts and our sincere determination. So we need to approach a pure devotee. It's all arranged by the Supreme Lord himself. When he sees that a soul is sincerely wanting to know him, he wants to get out of this material entanglement, the Lord arranges association of a pure devotee, so that by the association of pure devotee, we learn about God, we learn how to serve God. So it's very, very kind of Lord Krishna that he makes all the arrangements, because Krishna is situated in the heart of every living being. When a person wants to serve Krishna, he immediately senses it, he immediately comes to know about it. So he makes an arrangement to give him facilities to know more about Krishna, to know the message of God, what is being spoken here in the scriptures, and under the guidance of his representative, a pure devotee, such a sincere soul will know more about Krishna and will learn the science of Krishna Bhakti, the science of Krishna consciousness. He will understand both theory and practicals, and in this way he also becomes a pure devotee. Even though it takes many, many lives, if we sincerely practice this simple method of Krishna consciousness, that is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and giving up the sinful activities, one can completely become pure devotee in one life itself. There are 4 sinful activities which are called the pillars of sin, which one has to completely avoid. The first one is illicit connection with opposite sex. Indulgence in sex other than with one's wife to produce children is called illicit sex, and it is called sinful. So one has to avoid illicit connection. The second sin is intoxication. One has to give up all varieties of intoxication, including coffee and tea. Third one is meat eating. One should avoid all kinds of non-vegetarian food. Fourth category of sin is gambling. One should give up all sorts of gambling. So these 4 pillars of sin should be completely avoided, and then one has to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one has to worship Lord Krishna, one has to offer food to Lord Krishna, one can observe fasting on Ekadashi, and one can observe various festivals of divine appearances of the Lord. In this way, under the guidance of pure devotees, when we practice the science of Krishna consciousness, we also can become pure devotees. And if we do it sincerely, we can return back to Krishna in one life. Even though here Krishna has told that it takes many, many lives to know Krishna, Vasudeva as everything. By the power of this Krishna consciousness, by the power of the holy name, we can achieve that perfection if we practice sincerely, even in one life. So that is the benediction we have by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So next, what Krishna describes, we will understand in the next section. Hare Krishna.